Today we're checking out these fog lights with smoked lenses for the 2013 to 2018 Ram 1500s. These lights are going to offer both upgraded functionality and a subtle style touch by replacing standard fog light units with a slick, smoked lens design that blends seamlessly into your truck's front end. These fog lights are engineered to enhance visibility in low visibility conditions like fog, heavy rain, or some snow by casting a wide, low profile light pattern that cuts glare and improves road illumination. These mount right into your factory locations, right on the outside corners of your front bumper, and the smoked lens gives a stealthy, modern appearance that elevates the Ram's front end design while still maintaining a refined OEM style aesthetic. The smoked lens is going to complement other black features and accessories, and that's going to help complete the blacked out or modified look if that's what you're going for, and it's going to help you stand out from the stock look. Built from durable materials, these fog lights use a sealed body for long-lasting durability and a resilient polycarbonate smoked lens that's resistant to fading or cracking over time. The silicone-sealed casing ensures protection from moisture, while the robust design maintains clarity and visual appeal over time. Now, when it comes to the pricing, these are coming in right around that $100 price range for a pair. That's a very solid price point given the combination of improved functionality, the durable construction, and the enhanced style on that front end. Installation on these is simple, rated just a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and you can get these installed in just 30 minutes of your time. Now let's see exactly how this install process works with a video from one of our AmericanTrucks customers.
Here's everything you're going to need for the installation. Either a ratchet or some kind of electric screwdriver, the bit attachment, a extension, and then a 10mm socket. Depending on your lighting, you need some kind of light source, and then these are optional. It's a block or something to wedge the fender liner out of the way, and then some dielectric grease to prevent corrosion on the connectors. We're going to begin by doing the left fog light installation. The first thing we're going to be doing is getting up and underneath the vehicle. So here's the back side of the fog light. Pretty much what it looks like. I have the fender liner pulled back just for access. Just got a block of wood like this, just wedged between there. So here we are underneath the vehicle now. We're working on the left fog light removal. So to begin is we're going to be removing this clip here. And all it is just a little push tab. And you can just wiggle it out. So that removed, we're going to set that to the side. And then next we're going to be removing these 3 bolts right here with our 10mm socket. We're going to now remove these 3 10mm bolts. Once you have all 3 bolts loose, you can go ahead and remove them. Set those to the side, and then this fog light just slides out, like so. Here's everything that comes with the kit. You got the 2 new fog lights, a wiring harness and switch if you were to do the optional switch installation, which basically if you have a truck that doesn't have a factory fog light switch already, which for this installation I will be omitting that because I do have the factory OEM switch, so we'll be just doing the installation on just the fog lights. First things first with this installation is you're going to want to remove this protective cover. So once it's installed in the bumper, it's going to be a little hard to take off, so all it is just a pull-back plastic protective cover. Here we are back underneath the truck, as you can see. The old fog light is removed. First thing we're going to start with, which is completely optional, is going to be taking the old wiring harness here and just putting a little bit of dielectric grease on it just to help with water, preventing from corroding the wire in the future. We're going to begin with the installation of the new fog light. So we're going to get the new fog light, and to reinstall it, we're going to just shimmy it in just like we removed the old one. Try and avoid not scratching that front lens because we did take that protective cover off. Once you got it placed where you have it lined up with these holes, is we're going to reinstall those bolts that we took out. Once you have the tabs lined up roughly where the bolts are at, you're going to reinstall the bolts that we took out from the beginning. What I like to do is just to hand thread them a little bit on each of these holes, just so when you're installing each bolt, is you can move this fog light around a little bit easier so you can line them up with the existing mounting points. Once you have all 3 bolts started, is we're going to use your ratchet or your electric screwdriver to get them tight. What I like to do is get them pretty snug, but not completely tight until it's completely formed to where it's at, so you don't end up stripping anything out. And again, if you're not experienced using an electric screwdriver, I'd recommend just using a ratchet just so you don't break these tabs off. Once you got all 3 10mm bolts secured and back in, last thing to do is we're going to be reinstalling this electrical connector, which all it is, just pushes back into the existing plug here. One thing to make sure is give it a little wiggle, make sure it's secure and clipped on there, because it does clip over this tab. But once that's completed, the installation of the left fog light's done. One thing to note is you do have this adjuster right here, and all this does is adjust your pitch on your light itself. So this is going to be something self-adjusted based on how it looks when you have the vehicle on. We're going to move on to the right fog light installation, the same as before, so we're going to begin by getting up and underneath the vehicle. Here we are under the right side of the truck. Got my block here just for a little bit of access. And we're going to start taking out this one. To begin the removal of the existing right fog light, we're going to be removing this wiring harness just like before. Just pull back on this tab, give it a little wiggle, and we'll just be setting that to the side. Now we're going to move on to, just like before, we're going to be removing these 3 10mm bolts. Once you get all the bolts loose, you can remove those and then set those to the side. And then this fog light's going to remove just like the other side, pull out, and slide right on out. Just as before with the left fog light, begin the installation as we're going to be removing this protective cover before we install it underneath the truck. Here we are back underneath the truck. As you can see, the old fog light's still removed. And just as before, this is optional. Just put a little bit of dielectric grease on this wiring harness to prevent corrosion. Begin the installation of the new fog light is we're going to be just as before, just shimmy it in. Once you get it lined up with the mounting holes, we're going to move on to installing the bolts. Once you have it lined up with the mounting holes, we're going to move on to reinstalling the bolts. Just as before, as I like to get them started by hand, just so you can move the fog light around a little bit as needed to get them lined up. Once you have the bolts hand started, same as before, we're going to re-secure them with your drill or ratchet. What I like to do is just get them a little bit snugger, just so you don't over-torque them. Once you have the bolts all secure, last thing to do, same as before, reinstall this wiring harness, give it a little wiggle, make sure that tab's clicked down there, same thing, make sure it's secure, and then that completes the installation of the right fog light. Just as before, is you do have this adjustment mount here for adjusting the light pattern once it is installed on the truck.
All right, that's gonna wrap up our review and install of these fog lights with smoked lenses for the 2013 to 2018 Ram 1500s. And for all things Ram, keep it right here at American Trucks.